Imagine walking alone in the dense Amazon jungle. The canopy above blocks out the sun. Your footsteps echo through the humid air. Every sound could mean survival, or death. For centuries, explorers and indigenous peoples have ventured into this verdant hell, facing creatures of pure legend. But beneath the myths lies an even more terrifying reality. The Amazon rainforest spans 5.5 million square kilometers across South America. Within this vast green ocean lives an extraordinary abundance of life, but also extraordinary danger. Among the countless predators that call this ecosystem home, none inspire more fear, more fascination, and more respect than its serpents. These are not mere snakes. They are ancient assassins. Master hunters. Creatures perfectly engineered by millions of years of evolution to kill with precision and efficiency. Today, we explore the 5 most dangerous and mysterious snakes of the Amazon. These are the predators that have shaped human fear, indigenous legend, and the very way we understand the rainforest itself. Some kill with lightning speed. Others hunt with patience that borders on immortal. One possesses venom so potent it can stop a human heart in minutes. Another can constrict prey larger than a man. What you are about to discover is not science fiction. It is science fact. And it is far more terrifying than any movie could capture. Our first encounter takes us to the water. We find ourselves standing at the edge of a murky river, where the water is dark as obsidian and just as reflective. There is movement beneath the surface. Ripples expand outward. And then, a head breaks through the water, followed by a body of such immense proportions that it seems to defy belief. This is the green anaconda. Unex murinus. The largest snake on Earth by weight. Imagine this creature in your mind. A snake that can grow to 20, sometimes 25 feet in length. Some specimens reaching nearly 30 feet. The girth of a man's torso. The color is a dark olive green, marked with dark oval spots running the length of its body, overlaid with a pattern that seems almost iridescent in the right light. But do not let the word green fool you. This is not a beautiful jade snake lounging peacefully in the trees. This is a prehistoric nightmare, covered in scales that shimmer like burnished metal, with eyes that glow with primal intelligence. The green anaconda is the apex predator of the Amazon's waterways. Its danger level is not measured in venom, for the anaconda produces no venom at all. Instead, its danger is measured in pure, crushing power. An adult anaconda can kill through constriction alone, wrapping its body around prey with muscles that exert pressures exceeding 90 pounds per square inch. To understand this, imagine being hugged by a hydraulic press with the intelligence of a hunter. The anaconda hunts with patience that would break the human mind. It can remain motionless in the water for hours, sometimes days, waiting for prey to approach. Capybaras, caimans, jaguars drinking at the riverbank, all are potential meals. When prey comes within striking distance, the anaconda moves with shocking speed, launching from the water with an acceleration that rivals a striking cobra. It seizes the animal with teeth that curve backward, preventing escape. Then, and this is the moment of truth, the anaconda coils. The constriction is not a slow squeeze. It is catastrophic compression. With each breath the prey takes, the snake tightens, preventing the lungs from expanding. The prey loses oxygen. Blood cannot circulate. Within seconds to minutes, the victim loses consciousness. Within minutes, it is dead. Humans are not typical prey for anacondas. But they are prey nonetheless. Indigenous records speak of anacondas taking swimmers from rivers. In 1907, a massive anaconda was shot in the Amazon, measuring 28 feet, a legitimate historical record. And yes, there have been documented cases of anacondas attacking humans, particularly those wading or swimming in remote areas. The anaconda reproduces through live birth, a rarity among snakes. The female carries 20 to 100 offspring inside her body, giving birth to fully formed, venomous-free baby anacondas measuring 2 to 3 feet in length. These juveniles are immediately independent, capable of hunting small fish and amphibians within days of birth. The anaconda inhabits the waterways, swamps, and wetlands of the Amazon basin, particularly in the deeper sections where water moves slowly. It has evolved remarkable adaptations. Eyes and nostrils positioned at the top of its head allow it to hunt while remaining almost entirely submerged. Its scales are covered in an oily secretion that allows it to move through water with minimal resistance. And its jaw, is attached to its skull by flexible ligaments, allowing it to open wide enough to swallow prey larger than its head. The anaconda's lifespan stretches to 20 or even 30 years in the wild, far longer than most rainforest predators. Its only true predator is the jaguar, a creature nearly as fearsome as the anaconda itself. They inhabit the same waters, and when they meet, the outcome depends on size, age, and circumstance. Humans rarely encounter anacondas in their native habitat. But when encroachment pushes deeper into the jungle, when rivers are disturbed by boats and logging equipment, when people venture into remote waterways seeking resources or settlement, encounters become inevitable. And when a creature that weighs 300 pounds and measures 25 feet emerges from the water, defensive or hungry, the outcome is rarely survivable. We leave the water now, and we move deeper into the jungle itself. The ground beneath our feet is soft with decay, rich with the smell of rot and renewal. Vines tangle overhead. The air is thick enough to drink. And somewhere in this darkness, moving silently across the forest floor, is a snake that has inspired more terror in the hearts of indigenous peoples than perhaps any other creature. This is the Bushmaster. Lachesis muta. The longest viper in the world. The Bushmaster reaches lengths of 6 to 8 feet on average, with specimens recorded at over 10 feet in exceptional cases. Its body is stocky, covered in rough, keeled scales that give it an almost primordial appearance, as if it crawled directly from the Cretaceous period. The coloration ranges from tan to pink to reddish-brown, mottled with darker markings that provide near-perfect camouflage against the forest floor. At its tail, it possesses a rattle. Not as developed as a rattlesnake's, but a rattle nonetheless, producing a soft, almost insectal sound when vibrated. But do not let the rattle fool you into complacency. This is not a warning system designed for mercy. The rattle serves a different purpose, one far more sinister. The Bushmaster is the most venomous viper in the Americas. One bite delivers venom in quantities that would kill a horse. The venom is hemotoxic, meaning it destroys tissue, breaks down blood, and causes catastrophic internal hemorrhage. A human bitten by a Bushmaster can expect severe pain within seconds, tissue death around the bite wound within minutes, and if antivenom is not administered, and in the remote Amazon, antivenom is often hours away, death within hours. Here is what makes the Bushmaster so perfectly dangerous: it hunts at night, when humans are least prepared to encounter it. It moves along established trails through the jungle, the same trails used by humans, jaguars, and other large animals. It hunts rodents, particularly large species like agudas and pacas, using an ambush strategy of devastating efficiency. The Bushmaster will position itself beside the trail and wait. And wait. And wait. For hours, sometimes entire nights, it remains motionless. When prey approaches, the strike is instantaneous. The Bushmaster drives its fangs into the prey with a speed that human eyes cannot track. The venom is injected in massive quantities. A Bushmaster bite delivers 800 to 1,500 milligrams of venom in a single strike. A lethal dose for a human is estimated at just 120 milligrams. The prey does not suffer long. Death comes within minutes as the venom does its work. But for humans, death comes much slower, a drowning in your own blood, as internal organs rupture and hemorrhage transforms the body into a chamber of destruction. The Bushmaster reproduces by laying eggs. The female lays 12 to 20 eggs in a concealed location, often inside the base of a large tree or in a burrow, and then, uniquely among snakes, she guards the nest. The fer-de-lance is fast. Not the fastest snake in the world, but fast enough. When a victim approaches, the strike comes like a whip, like electricity, like death itself. The venom is hemotoxic, similar to the Bushmaster but in smaller quantities delivered through smaller fangs. But do not mistake smaller quantities for lesser danger. The venom of a fer-de-lance is highly potent. A bite can cause severe tissue destruction, losing an eye, losing a limb, losing blood pressure and heart function. Danger level, extreme. But here is the crucial difference between the fer-de-lance and the Bushmaster: the fer-de-lance is common. Very common. It is found in agricultural areas, in villages, in human settlements. More people encounter fer-de-lances than encounter any other venomous snake in Central and South America. And more people die from fer-de-lance bites, hundreds per year, than from any other snake species in the Western Hemisphere. The fer-de-lance hunts during the day, unlike the bushmaster's nocturnal preference. It hunts small mammals, lizards, and birds with a technique of ambush and speed. The snake will rest, often hanging in low vegetation or coiled on a branch, waiting for prey to pass beneath. When prey arrives, the strike is immediate and devastating. The prey is bitten, envenomated, and allowed to move. The fer-de-lance does not always constrict, but instead releases the victim and tracks it as the venom takes effect. The fer-de-lance reproduces through live birth. The female carries 10 to 80 offspring internally, giving birth to fully developed juveniles that are venomous and dangerous from the moment of birth. A baby fer-de-lance, measuring barely a foot long, possesses venom powerful enough to seriously injure a human. This makes the species particularly treacherous. Many people do not expect danger from a small snake, not realizing that size and danger are often unrelated. The fer-de-lance inhabits forest floors, clearings, and particularly the areas where forest has been cleared for agriculture. It thrives in the transition zones between jungle and human settlement. It hides in tall grass, under fallen logs, in piles of vegetation, and most dangerously, in the spaces between crops where farmers work daily. The snake's lifespan extends 15 to 20 years in captivity, likely similar in the wild. Its predators include larger snakes, some birds, and jaguars. Creatures willing to risk the venom for a meal. Humans encounter fer-de-lances constantly because these snakes have adapted to human presence. They hunt in the same fields where humans work. They rest in the same vegetation where humans walk. A farmer working barefoot in a field, reaching down to pull weeds, may not see a fer-de-lance coiled inches away. The encounter takes seconds. The strike is unavoidable. And for thousands each year, the outcome is catastrophic or fatal. We climb higher now, ascending into the canopy itself. The light is brighter here, filtered through layers of leaves. The temperature drops slightly. The humidity remains oppressive. And here, draped over branches like a coil of rope, like a piece of living ivy, is one of the most beautiful and most lethal snakes of the Amazon. This is the emerald tree boa. Corallus caninus. A snake that looks almost too perfect to be real. The emerald tree boa is relatively modest in size, averaging 20 to 30 inches in length, with some specimens reaching 3 feet. But what it lacks in size, it more than compensates for in elegance. The body is a brilliant, almost luminescent green, a shade of green so pure and vibrant that it seems painted by an artist rather than evolved by nature. Some specimens have scattered white or yellow markings, like dewdrops on a leaf. The eyes are large, golden or yellow, positioned forward on the head like a cat's eyes, a rarity in snakes, giving the emerald tree boa an almost mammalian appearance. But here is where beauty transforms into deception. The emerald tree boa is a viper. A pit viper, equipped with heat-sensing pits along its jaw that allow it to detect the infrared radiation of warm-blooded prey. It possesses fangs that fold away into the roof of its mouth, snapping forward with incredible force when it strikes. And it possesses venom, hemotoxic venom potent enough to kill small mammals quickly and cause severe tissue damage in larger creatures, including humans. The emerald tree boa hunts with patience and strategy. It drapes itself over a branch in a distinctive coil, the body arranged in 3 or 4 loops, with the head resting in the center of the coil, perfectly positioned to strike downward at prey passing below. In this position, it can remain absolutely still for hours, waiting for a bird, a small mammal, or an unsuspecting lizard to pass beneath its branch. When prey approaches, the strike comes from above. The snake launches downward with the head striking first, fangs driving into the prey. The venom works quickly on small animals, causing paralysis and death within minutes. The snake then constricts the prey, wrapping a few coils around it, and begins the slow process of swallowing. The emerald tree boa reproduces through live birth, another viviparous species. The female gives birth to 4 to 12 juveniles, each measuring around 7 to 8 inches. Here is something remarkable: baby emerald tree boas are not green. They are yellow. Some are bright yellow, some are slightly greenish. As they mature, over a period of weeks to months, the yellow pigmentation is replaced by green. Scientists do not fully understand why this color change occurs, but it likely helps the juveniles blend into different microhabitats as they grow. The emerald tree boa inhabits the canopy of the Amazon, spending nearly its entire life in the trees. It moves along branches with a prehensile tail that grasps the wood like an additional limb, providing stability and allowing the snake to hang freely. It has evolved rough scales on its tail and body for grip, and a flattened body shape that allows it to move along thin branches without falling. The snake's lifespan is estimated at 15 to 20 years in captivity. In the wild, predators include harpy eagles, larger snakes, and perhaps large tarantulas or other arthropods. The emerald tree boa's primary survival mechanism is camouflage. It simply becomes invisible against the green leaves and vegetation of the canopy. Humans rarely encounter emerald tree boas because the snakes live so high in the trees. But researchers, indigenous peoples who climb for food or materials, and occasionally visitors to the canopy layer do encounter them. A person reaching for what they believe is a vine, or climbing past a branch where the snake rests, can trigger a defensive strike. The venom is less potent than a bushmaster's or fer-de-lance, but on a small limb like a hand or arm, the concentrated dose can still cause serious tissue damage and systemic effects. We descend now back to the forest floor, into the leaf litter and the darkness of the deep jungle. The sun has barely penetrated here, and the shadows are absolute. We are now in the domain of a snake that exists in legend and in nightmare. A creature so feared that indigenous peoples have created elaborate mythologies around it, warning children away from certain areas, teaching respect for a threat that is more subtle and more deadly than anything we have encountered so far. This is the coral snake. Micrurus fulvius in some regions, though the Amazon hosts several species including Micrurus hempricii and other variants. This is the serpent of paradox. Beautiful and terrifying, small and supremely dangerous, quiet and utterly lethal. The coral snake reaches lengths of 2 to 3 feet on average, rarely exceeding 4 feet. It is slender, elegant, with smooth scales and a small head. But it is the coloration that defines this species. The body is marked with bands of bright colors, red, yellow, and black, encircling the entire body in a repeating pattern. In some species, the pattern is red-yellow-black repeated along the length. In others, it is black-yellow-red. The color arrangement differs by species, and this difference is crucial, because it determines whether the snake is a deadly coral snake or a harmless mimic. There is a rhyme, passed down through generations of people living with these snakes. Red on yellow, kill a fellow. Red on black, friend of Jack. This rhyme, imperfect as it is, helps distinguish venomous coral snakes from the harmless snakes that mimic their coloration, a phenomenon called Batesian mimicry, where harmless species evolve to look like dangerous ones, gaining protection through the appearance of danger. The coral snake is a neurotoxic viper. One of the few truly neurotoxic snakes in the Americas. Its venom does not destroy tissue like the hemotoxic vipers we have discussed. Instead, it attacks the nervous system directly. The venom blocks the transmission of nerve impulses, paralyzing the victim from the head downward. Respiratory paralysis, the inability to breathe, is the cause of death in coral snake envenomation. Danger level, extreme.